You're listening to Breakfast with Pablo.
Today we're speaking to former Big Brother housemate from 2005, Hot Dogs. And Hot Dogs, what made you go and audition for Big Brother in 2005?
It's quite funny. I was sitting in a mate's house in Scarborough over in WA near the beach, and one of my best friends really loved Big Brother, and he really wanted to be on Big Brother. And I was basically talking it down, saying, "Oh, you don't want to do that, it'd be stupid." He bet me $50, so we ended up going to the audition together. And in the very first audition, I actually got kicked out. They said they didn't want me, and I chucked a bit of a only child tantrum, I guess you'd call it. And the executive producer came up to me backstage and said, "Mate, if that's what you like in real life, I think we might have a place for you." And then they let me in the back door, so to speak.
Okay, now, so there was no sort of plan to do that in the auditions at all? It just sort of happened?
Well, the reason why is because on the actual audition day, it was like a 39-degree day over in Perth, and we were all lined up outside of University of West Australia, UWA. And I was standing out in the sun for about 4 hours, so we finally got our audition, and the audition, it was a group audition. It went for about 3 minutes, and I basically didn't get a chance to talk and didn't get a chance to answer any questions. And then they said, "Oh, we like you, and the rest of you can go." So I just blew up because I've been waiting for 4 hours and then told to go without even being able to say anything.
Now, how did your mate go in the auditions?
He got through the first round, which was good because he was driving, so I still got a lift home.
Nice.
And then he got kicked out the next session. But I think Australia made a mistake. He's a much better bloke than I am, and he probably would have been a lot more entertaining.
Now, going into the auditions, and if you had you obviously didn't know you were going to be on Big Brother, but was the Hot Dogs nickname always going to be your name heading into Big Brother?
Oh, it's so funny. Like, the nicknames, it's been really good, but it's also been really bad. I've basically had that nickname since I was 16.
Right.
And my whole psychology behind going in as Hot Dogs rather than Simon was my best mates call me Hot Dogs. And, I wanted Australia to think, Simon's one of my best mates too, and so we call him by his nickname. So, yeah, look, it was designed there. The producers were against it. They were saying, you have to go Simon, you have to be Simon, right up until the last 2 days before we went into the Big Brother house, and we had to sign merchandise. And I went ahead and just signed everything as Hot Dogs, and then the executive producer rang me up and said, "Mate, what do you think you're doing? Not even in the show yet. We'll kick you out." And I said, "Look, mate, worst comes to worst, if I don't get on the show, I've had a free trip to Gold Coast, do what you got to do." Fortunately, they put me in.
Now, was it everything that you expected going into Big Brother and stepping over that threshold and getting into the house?
It was nothing like I expected. It's so funny. Everyone's always got an opinion about something, me included. I'm quite opinionated. But you just can't prepare yourself for it. Everything that you thought you would do. Like, I know me. Before I went in, I was like, all these dopes, what are they always doing, crying on TV and having a sad about the most stupid thing in the world? And then when I got in there, I'll be the first to admit the diary room was a great little place for me to break down and have a cry and have a whinge. It's like nothing you can ever expect. It blew me away. It really did.
Now, how did you deal with people recognising you in regular life after the show went to air and after you'd been evicted from the house?
I didn't handle it that well, I guess, because I didn't know much about Big Brother, and on the contract you sign it said that you've got to give 10 days of your time after you get kicked out. I thought, yeah, I can give them 10 days, but the reality of it was it was probably about a year of doing appearances, and you had to be out in public, and you had to give people what they thought you were or what they expected they should be able to get from you. And I guess I didn't handle that well. On certain occasions it'd be okay, but on other days I just wanted to, have a few beers with my mates and keep it relatively quiet, but you couldn't do that. So, probably in hindsight there were definitely things I could have done better to handle that public perspective. I guess I just wasn't ready for it.
Have you seen much of your time in the house, and have you gone back and watched some of the episodes of you being in Big Brother?
Well, my best mate who auditioned at the same one, he taped pretty much all of the episodes and all of the sort of post-interviews I did on Rove and stuff like that. So I've seen my interview with Bert Newton and with Rove, and then I've probably seen like a little sketch of my time on there, but not really much. It was more fun living it rather than watching it, I guess.
Now, you also did some fairly random things after Big Brother. You were on the Australian comedy The Wedge. You posted nude in Australian magazine Cleo, and then you used to host a late night TV show. How was all of that?
Well, look, I mean, the Up Late game show was it was a hell of a lot of fun. I worked out of Canberra. The team that I worked with were great, but the show was what it was. But the actual environment and going to work and hanging out with the guys was a lot of fun. And in terms of the work hours, I mean, I worked 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, and they paid me handsomely for doing it. So I did enjoy it, but you'd be paying me a lot of money to actually have to make me watch what I was doing.
Well, it used to be on quite late, and I was at uni at the time, so we'd often flick it on after coming home from the pub and after having a few.
Yeah.
It was very entertaining, I must say.
My mates did the same thing, but I hope you weren't doing what they were doing, because obviously coming from WA, being a couple of hours behind, we couldn't actually phone up. But my mates would get home from the pub at 12 o'clock, turn me on and start making 100 phone calls and cursing at me because I wouldn't answer the phone, but they were obviously 2 hours behind.
Now, you've stepped away from that side of life and talking about where you are now. Fill us in on your life as Simon and also as Hot Dogs.
Well, I guess since moving away from all of that and the TV and radio and stuff, I really wanted just to get away and be me again without having to worry whether people recognise me. Is it good? Is it bad? So I actually took off and went and lived in America for 2 years and then did 2 ski seasons in Whistler.
Beautiful.
And that's where I met my wife. So I had to go over to another country to find a wife after Big Brother. And
has she seen the Cleo magazine?
She has, and she just says it's all photoshopped. So, and to be honest, it'd have to be. I still don't know how they gave me the gig, but I did jump at it. And then look, my trade has always been real estate. I've made my money through investing and developing in real estate. So when I did finally come back to Perth, I checked out a few companies, and I really wanted to get in the world of being able to help other people and educate them on how to invest in property and to make money from it. So I've sourced out a few companies and ended up going with a company called Positive Real Estate, and I've been with them now for a few years, and it's just a phenomenal company to work for, and a good feeling about being able to give back and help others make some money through property as well.
Now, do people, when they come in and talk property with you, do they look at you a little bit strange and think, I know this guy from somewhere?
Oh, it's so funny. Like, you get that look, and I know the look. You've just seen it so many times. So my favourite thing to do is just to make something up on the spot, make it a bit lighthearted. I say, like, I used to be a dolphin trainer at SeaWorld or something random like that, and see how long, because some people go, that's it, that's right, that's where I know you from, SeaWorld, and then I'll have a giggle, and then, the next day we'll go by and they'll pick up the phone or send me an email and go, oh, you little rat, you bugger, you used to be on Big Brother. So it is funny. I guess it's flattering, or I don't know if it's flattering. It just means I've got one of those faces you can't forget, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Now, on your Wikipedia page, I'm not sure if you know this, but it says that Darren is set to star alongside Derek Banner, who's Eric Banner's older brother, in a new sitcom, Hot Dogs and Banana, which is set to be a buddy cop series where they fight crimes of animal cruelty. Do you know that?
I can't believe they let that out before that we're still in pre-production. I don't think anything on Wikipedia is true.
Right.
I always have a laugh. I haven't looked at it for a long time, but I remember in 2006 at the height of it all, looking on Wikipedia and reading this paragraph, and I thought, how did they even get this information? None of it's right, but we'll go with it. It sounds good. I'm sure the next bit they put in there is I'm going up to Mars or landing on the moon or something like that.
It'd be a hell of a TV show.
Oh, would it what? And Derek's a great bloke.
Yeah. One last question. Would you do it all again, or would you do another reality TV show?
Oh, I'd never do another reality TV show, but I would do Big Brother again in a heartbeat. It was so much fun. It opened so many doors, and there's ups and downs and everything in life, and I think as long as you're on ride and you get to share the experiences, everything's worthwhile. So yeah, I'll do it in a heartbeat.
Thanks so much for taking your time out today. We appreciate it.
Good on you, mate. Take care.
Classic Gold, today's hits. Spirit.